All right, six, we're back. Second part of the lesson from lesson 2 about what makes our body move. Yesterday we covered the skeletal system, the 206 bones in an adult body that gives you height, supports you, protects you, makes blood, stores minerals, does all those things that we talked about. We also talked about joints. We hit on a few of the diseases that might come out of it. Today we'll talk about a few more. Before we get along with how to keep our bones healthy and look out for the diseases, we got to talk about the other system that makes us move, and that's our muscular system. So you got your notes sitting out here, and off we go. Your bones support your body, but without your muscles, you would not be able to move. In fact, you wouldn't be able to stand. Your muscles help you stand. You wouldn't be able to breathe. Your muscles make you breathe. Remember that from your diaphragm, that sheet of muscles from the skill on Monday? You wouldn't be able to even swallow food. We'll learn that when we talk about the digestive system in general in greater detail, and today we'll talk about what makes that happen automatically. The more than 600 muscles of your body make up 40 to 50% of your weight. So over here, guys, you have 600 muscles, and that's literally half of your body weight. So muscles are very dense, heavy material. Gives you most of your weight. Lots of times when we get into density, we talk about the human body. The human body, when you throw it in water, is really close to the same density of water. So there's a real fine line of, do I float in water or do I sink? Well, it depends on how much muscle I have. The more muscle you have, the more you will sink in water because you'll be way heavier than water. The less muscle you have, the more fat you have, the easier it will be for you to float in water. Okay, the muscles and the tissues that attach them to bones make up your muscular system. So your muscular system is all the muscles, and then we'll talk about these tissues that attach them coming up when we get down here and start talking about this one. Your body has three main types of tissue muscles. The muscle tissue in your heart is called cardiac muscle. So over here, you're in number 1 here. There's three types of muscles. Cardiac is in your heart. It's found nowhere else in the body. This kind of muscle tissue can contract time after time without getting tired. So guys, you start running around the gym, what happens? Your legs get tired, don't they? I'm not sitting here in the middle of science class going, oh my goodness, my heart needs a break today because it's really tired. It's been beating now for a long time. I better tell my heart to take a break. Your heart muscles that pump never get tired your whole life. You can have a heart attack, guys, but I don't want you to think that your heart's always getting more and more tired every year that you live and it just can't do it anymore. There's things that cause it to work too hard, like the fats we eat and the cholesterol that builds up. But you got to understand, your cardiac muscle does not get tired. Number 2 type of muscle. Another kind of muscle called smooth muscle can be found in organs of the digestive system. That's what they were getting at, guys, with swallowing food up here. And blood vessels. Both of these first two types, cardiac from A and smooth from B, muscles are called involuntary muscles, which means they work automatically. So in your notes, guys, I want you to write down work automatically. You might want to, like, in front of A and B right here, write involuntary. Involuntary, C is a voluntary. Involuntary means they work automatically. I'm not sitting with my brain now going, beat heart, beat heart, beat heart, beat heart, and I have to tell it every second to keep beating. I also don't need to think, digest that food, digest that food, digest that food. It's doing that automatically, guys. So that's what it means to be an involuntary muscle. They work automatically, control movements inside your body. For example, the smooth muscles lining your stomach cause it to twist and turn to mix the food with digestive juices. So just got done eating lunch, your stomach is now digesting that food. And one of the things it's doing, guys, is it's literally working like a washing machine. It's literally just twisting it all around in your stomach. Sometimes when you can feel that, like when you have a stomach ache, you're like, oh, my stomach is really turning now. Well, that's us feeling that because of the acid that's building up with maybe the food we ate because it upset our stomach. But normally, guys, that stuff just happens automatically. We don't feel or have to think about it. The third kind of muscle is called skeletal muscle. This is a voluntary muscle. You control voluntary muscles. The muscles that move your arms and legs are voluntary muscles. Okay, so you think to control them, they make you move. What that gets at is, if I want to walk around the classroom, I'm going to think, I'm going to start to walk around this classroom. I'm taking notes down and writing answers. I have to think, spell this word. And so I'm controlling the movements of my body. That's the third type. That's the voluntary. Ones you think about to control, and these two working automatically. Let's see how they work. All muscles can contract, but only your skeletal muscles are responsible for your body's movement. So that's your point here, number 4. How do they move? Your bones and skeletal muscles work together to make your body move. Pairs of muscles attached to opposite sides of a bone near a joint. So I wrote down muscles work in pairs. How do they work in pairs? When one muscle contracts and pulls the bone, the opposite muscle relaxes. So one contracts, the other relaxes. So guys, if I ask you to flex your arm muscle, the top of your arm that you feel like, hey, look at my big muscle, that contracts, that pulled your arm up. At the same time, if you feel underneath your arm, the bottom side is the muscle that relaxed. Now if I want to straighten my arm back out, I can maybe, if I put my hand underneath my arm, feel that muscle contract and pull it down, and it relaxes the muscle on top. So they're always working in pairs. Okay, I'll give you the last two because that's some more blanks to fill in. When one muscle contracts and pulls the bone, the opposite relaxes. Movement results in the direction of the pulling muscle. Muscles never push on bones to cause movement. So use those things, guys, for your worksheets and your tests and your thinking, the questions that we can ask that. So movement is always in direction of the pulling muscle. I flex my arm, the top one is pulling it toward me. I relax my arm, the bottom one pulls it back straight. Muscles never push on bones to cause movement. So it's not a push and pull, it's a pull, or the opposite one pulls. Okay, so keep that straight, that's really important. Now they'll try to explain it to you in this beautiful drawing up here. It says the muscles on the top of the leg is relaxing. This allows the lower leg to be pulled backward to straighten the leg. Muscles on the top of the leg would contract, and the muscle on the back of the leg would relax. The lower leg is pulled back because the muscle on the back of the leg is contracting, pulling on the bones of the lower leg. So when this contracts, I pull my leg in. When this contracts, it's attached up around here, guys. It would pull it back to straight. So pull it in, pull it to straight. And so they are working in pairs, top of your leg and your bottom of your leg. The hinge joint of the knee allows the lower leg to move freely. So this guy's going along for the ride as these things push and pull. Now you have muscles on the lower legs, guys, that are controlling all of this stuff down here. How I contract this. If I think about contracting or straightening my legs, that'll put me on my tippy toes or not. That's these muscles down here. Now, a vocabulary word. Tough bands called tendons attach muscles to bones. Yesterday you had ligaments. Ligaments was bone to bone. So how do I hold my knee joint together? All kinds of ligaments. How do the muscles really work? I have to have my muscle, and then it gets into this tough little band right at the end, and it attaches to the bone. Okay, that stuff you'll see sometime on like a chicken bone if you eat that. There's always that white part that you just can't chew through. That's the tendon, guys. That used to be attached in there because the meat you eat off of animals, the muscle of it. Okay, so number 8, tendons attach muscles to bones. Now let's worry about keeping them healthy. Although your muscles are very strong, they can become injured or develop other problems. Overworking or stretching your muscles too far, we call that hyperextended, may result in a muscle strain, number 9, or an irritation of the tendons, the tough tissue that connects muscle to bone. Disease, muscular dystrophy, is a condition in which the muscles become weaker and weaker as the muscles literally just destroy themselves. Tragically, it is also an inherited condition. It is most common in males. So we're filling in the blanks for number 10, guys. They become weaker. It's an inherited condition, which means it has the ability to pass down to offspring. And in this case, it's more common in males than in females. That's true of a lot of different diseases out there, depending on the gene that makes males or females, guys, will carry certain traits on it. And so muscular dystrophy is a serious disease out there that just literally will eventually kill you because it'll destroy muscles you can't live without, like a heart muscle, or it weakens you while you'd be in a wheelchair and things like that. Okay. Disorders of the skeletal system include arthritis and osteoporosis. We talked about this one yesterday. We'll get both again today. Arthritis is a condition in which the joints become painful and swollen. So I wrote down here, arthritis, painful and swollen joints. Lots of times they'll say, stop cracking your knuckles. Your joints are going to swell up. You're going to have arthritis when you get older. Okay, that's not really true, but it's what we say so that you stop cracking your knuckles just because they don't like the sound of it. But over time, your joints wear down, guys. You have cartilage, if you remember from yesterday, cartilage at the end of your bones, and so you want to keep that cartilage there. Those things eventually wear down with time, and then it's kind of like grinding bone on bone and become very painful. That's why you might hear people who get knee replacements, where they literally take the knee bones out and put in artificial ones, or hip replacements of elderly people, trying to fight off arthritis and the grinding on bones. Arthritis is the most common disease in the United States not caused by germs. Okay, I can get the flu, guys. That's a disease. That one's very common, but it's caused by germs. Arthritis is not caused by germs. It's your body deteriorating. It can affect anybody, children and adults. So I don't want to give you the impression that only old people get arthritis because it just slowly breaks down over time. That's common. Lots of times you'll hear that with old people or elderly people, but it can also affect children as well. Osteoporosis, as you learned yesterday, is a condition in which the bones become weak and then they break easily. Although symptoms of osteoporosis do not usually show up until people become older, getting enough calcium during childhood and adolescence and being physically active can help prevent this condition. So I wrote down this, guys. What is osteoporosis? Weak bones. They break easily. It happens usually when you get older, but you prevent it when you're younger. If you eat healthy, exercise, get plenty of calcium in your childhood and early adults and your teenage years, then you're more likely to fight off osteoporosis as you get older, okay? Obviously, no, we don't want the elderly to fall and break their bones. That's not good at all. Let's keep it healthy. You can keep your skeletal and muscular system strong and healthy by eating healthy foods. Boom. Get plenty of rest. Kids like to brag, I stayed up till midnight, I stayed up till 2 a.m. You're fools. Don't do that stuff. Get plenty of rest. It's how your body recharges when you're laying in a bed and you don't need to stretch your muscles and stretch your skeletal system. Get plenty of exercise. Okay, generation that sits in front of a TV and plays video games all day. You got to get outside. You got to run around and get exercise. That's definitely been hard in 2020, hasn't it, when we're supposed to be staring at our computer screen all day to get an education. Take breaks. Get out there and run around. This one I've learned to appreciate with time. Some people warm up before beginning exercising. Warming up loosens muscles, tendons, and ligaments. I remember when I was in high school and I was on the track team, they had always 20 minutes before track practice, you sat and stretched and did warm-up lines. Then you worked down, then we stretched some more. I'm like, dude, stop wasting my time. I hate stretching. Let's go. Now I'm appreciating how important that is to warm up your muscles. You think about professional athletes, guys, how they get to the games hours early. Why? They know how important this is to warm up your muscles so that you don't pull a muscle and so that you're ready to go with those things. And so lots of times, you know, we sit in our desks all day and then we get to recess and we start just running around, and you guys are still young and can do those things. Lots of times you'll hear old people like, okay, we're going to recess. Give me a second. I need to stretch out and move my back a little bit. Appreciate what that is, guys. It just stops this, man. It stops us from pulling and straining the muscle and, you know, doing those things, okay? So trying to keep those healthy. All right, we got done with the lesson today, so now you have your worksheet that goes along with lesson number 2. Blessings on it.